Well, that was messed up. So YouTube basically took away my ability to live stream. They claimed that I violated their terms of service. So we're going to try to shoot it this way. All right. What was I talking about? Colt 1860 Army, the workhorse of the United States Army during the American Civil War. This is probably something my mother's great grandfather fired. Um, well, the one bearing her last name was with the 31st Infantry and the 31st Maine Infantry. And the other one, I'm not so sure, but he also served in the Civil War. I was told by one person that it was the 20th Maine, and then I was told by another person that he served with the artillery unit at the Battle of Gettysburg. I just know that the guy was at the Battle of Gettysburg. But anyways, um, what was I talking about in my live stream before it was abruptly cut? So this gun, all right, is a gun that you can get in many states through the mail without needing an without having to go through an FFL. So this gun right here, I'm going to take it apart off camera because I don't need YouTube to have a hissy fit over it. So I'm going to show you guys the cylinder real quick. As you can see, these little cones right here, they called these cones during the Civil War, but everybody calls them nipples now. I don't know why, but they're cones. I'm going to call them cones. That's what they called them back then, and that's what I'm going to call them now. So basically, I'm going to put the gun back together now. Off camera because, well, YouTube likes to have a hissy fit. So, what do you do with this gun? So you load it. Oh, okay. You cock it so that you can turn the barrel. You just one click. Single action army, you have to do two, but we're not talking about that gun. And I can't get a good view of that. You know what? We're going to do this one handed. Bam. Beauty of having two devices. So you basically load your powder in, right? Through that hole. Then you would um, take your round ball. A 4.54 round ball will go in that hole, and you'd set it on top. And you ain't gonna be able to see this part because, well, I don't have a way to stand this flashlight up. See, that ain't working. Oh, I'm about to get it. Oh, let's try this bottle of water. That'll work. No, there's not enough water in there. Let's lean that up against my radio. All right. So you would load it in there, then you'll turn it, and then you take this here loading lever right here, and there's a little latch right here. You just pull that back, and then you would line it up with the cylinder and ram it home until all six are filled. Cock it back, bang, and then bang. Because between the cylinders, there's a little you know what? Right here is between the cylinders. There's between the chambers, there's a little safety notch. So you set it on that notch, it won't turn, it won't do anything until you cock it. Now, I'm going to take my little tablet over here. Oh, it's still on? Fuck it. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can get it. I ain't gonna. Oh, this is gonna be bad. No thanks. Alright, let's shut this off. Now, the reason I'm talking about this gun is because in some states, you can get them sent to you in the mail because they're not regulated by the federal government. However, some states do require you to have an FFL. In only 8 states is this gun legal to own, or for a felon to legally own without any special permits or any special permission or whatnot. The rest of the states that do allow you to have these sent to you in the mail, they're illegal for people who are prohibited persons, such as people who are felons and people who have restraining orders. In Texas, a felon can get one of these. That's the only state I know. And I know Maine is not one of those states. However, you can get these sent to your house in the state of Maine. So, why do I bring this up? Well, anybody in those states, in the states where you can get this in the mail, you can get them. However, if you're not in one of the 8 states that allows felons to legally own these, my recommendation is after you get it, bury it. And keep it as an emergency. Get all the powder for it, get the round ball, get the caps for it, and just bury it. Because you never know what's going to happen. And what's about to happen right now, it's not a question of, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when. And the left is going bonkers. I don't recommend dry firing this. So as soon as you get a gun, right? As soon as you get one of these, well, you got several options. Option 1, you could leave it as it is, like what I'm doing, because this right here is not going to be a weapon of choice for me. Where's my screwdriver? There we go. It's not going to be a weapon of choice for me as far as a shit hits the fan scenario because I don't need it. But it is very cool to look at. I mean, this gun, I can tell you right now that I got this 2 weeks ago. And I've been playing with this thing every day. More so than I've ever played with a gun in my life. I really love it. I mean, I love single actions. I really do. Single actions are the best. And I'm a revolver guy when it comes to guns. And I like them this long. But, I like this particular gun this long because it's got more of a range. You can actually hit something at 100 yards away with this gun if you're smart. It was designed for about 50. Yeah, like I said, I've played with this gun nonstop every day. Well, not nonstop, but you get the gist. I love this gun. All right. Out of all the guns that I own, is it my favorite? No, that would always be the Colt 1911. It is near and dear to my heart. Had to get rid of it back in 2012 when I was going to be homeless, needed cash. I got rid of all my guns then. Stupid me, I should have just had my mother hold on to them for a while. Because that M14, oh man, that M14 was the best deal on a gun I ever got in my life. The gun came with a scope, 10 round magazines, 10 20 round magazines, 5 30 round magazines, and 100 rounds of ammunition for $500. That was the deal I got in 2012. Now, when I got the gun, it wasn't cleaned. It needed to be cleaned. It needed to be restored. And I spent, it took me about 3 days of work to completely fix the gun. That was it. It worked perfect. A couple of the magazines weren't working properly, so I decided to ditch them. But the but I always displayed that on the wall with a 20 round magazine in it. Um, those guns were great, by the way. But this right here, now it isn't the only gun I have. Um, but I think it's just because it's new and I love it and I love single actions. And like I said, I'm a revolver guy, but my favorite gun is the Colt 1911 for pistols. But my dream gun now is the Colt Dragoon. That gun's going to cost me 400 and I think it was $450. I'm not really sure, but I want the second model because the second model has a square trigger guard. This one's rounded, but it's square in the back on the Dragoon. Perfect. And it also has the upgraded cylinder from the first model. The third model has a rounded trigger guard with the upgraded cylinder from the first model. But I like the second model because, it's just my favorite one. I got to shoot it and I've wanted one ever since. Well, I saw this puppy and I couldn't resist. Ah. Now, why am I telling you guys this? If you are a prohibited person in one of those 8 states, you're going to want to get one of these. Because the shit's about to hit the fan and you're going to need something to protect yourselves. Some of you guys out there may have families. Some of you guys out there may not. But is this enough to protect yourself? I mean, against a couple of people? And if society breaks down and somebody breaks into your house, you're going to want something to defend your home with. So that's what you do. And people will tell you, "Oh, you can't defend your home with that." A couple months ago, there was a story out of New Hampshire where a guy defended his home with a musket. Okay. He shot one of the intruders and he defended his home with a musket. I think there was 2 or 3 intruders, something like that. It's a story out of New Hampshire. I saw the story on not Facebook, YouTube. So, oh man, look at those grips, maple grips. I bet you if you threw this in the smoker, it would smell beautiful as it's smoking But you don't want to do that with your grips unless you got better ones. And even still, you still wouldn't want to do it. Yeah, so yeah, things are gonna happen soon, and you're gonna need to protect yourself, your families, maybe someone you care about, maybe some chick you're blanking, you gotta go simp for her. In my case, yeah. In your case, hopefully not, because man, I saw a video last night on Facebook where it starts off. It's one of those TikTok stitches or whatever they call it. Anyways, where it starts off as a girl telling women to get you a man that can protect you during the apocalypse, and the guy comes back on and says, "That's not the problem. Okay, the problem is having a wife who doesn't listen to you." And that's key because women, they don't listen at all. They seem to think they're right and you're wrong. And in a shit hits the fan scenario, when survival kicks in, she ain't gonna be able to help you, dude. All right. I love the shadow art. So yeah, basically that's what I got. Great for self defense. I mean, it was great for self defense for what was it? It was great for, well, these cap and ball revolvers. The first one came out in 1836. That was the Colt Patterson model. Had so many flaws that the United States Army did not pick it up. And then once the Walker came around, Colt was the preferred gun for everybody. Everybody had to have a Colt firearm. So, I mean, these were great for many years for self defense. Even when they came out with the single action army, and even during that time, they used these for self defense. And when repeating rifles became a thing, they still use these for self defense. I mean, I would guess that it wasn't until the 1880s when they started switching, when people out west were starting to switch over to the Colt single action army. Which, if you can get your hands on one of those, that's a perfect gun to have too, because then you just load cartridges in that sucker. But and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what if you run out of black powder? Well, before you run out of black powder, you should, in a survival scenario, you should be able to to acquire some other guns that you can hold on to. Um, in some states, you're allowed to hunt with that. So, if you want to conserve your cartridges, well, I got something that would conserve cartridges already in the form of a crossbow and a bow for hunting. But it's a decent backup gun to have. I mean, let's say you're in a gun battle and against two assailants with semi-automatic guns, they're going to piss away their ammo so fast, and then you can catch them as they're reloading. But also, you can build stuff with the black powder that I can't mention on YouTube. Uh, see. So yeah, I mean, you can do a lot with these guns. I mean, shoot, you can even convert this sucker. You can convert it. You can do a lot. So there's several websites you can go to to get conversion cylinders. Um, Cursed is one of them. That's KIRST. You just go on Google, look up Cursed conversions or Cursed converters, and you'll find conversion cylinders with a loading gate. They used to hold a patent for it, but they don't anymore. So people can make those conversions and sell them. I personally have a beef with their conversions because, well, they don't make a 45 with a cylinder that holds 6 rounds. They make them only with 5 rounds, and then they don't have the safety notch. So you got to load one of them. You got to keep one of them empty, so you're only loading 4 chambers. And then there's the Howell conversions that don't have the loading gate, but they still work. I mean, you just have to take the gun apart and pop it on there each time you want to load it, which isn't too terrible. But yeah, so I plan on getting a sheriff's model, okay? And then I plan on taking that sheriff's model and converting it. This one right here won't get converted because I don't want to. I don't want to use my Dremel kit to widen this out, and I want to keep this looking like a Civil War gun because, like I said, I'm a history buff, guys, and I love the Civil War guns. I do, man. I really do. Oh man. So I got these leftist commie fucks on Facebook triggered over the Confederate flag because I have it on my Facebook profile. It is so funny. My profile picture is Trump giving flipping 2 birds. It's just a little drawing of Trump doing that, and then there's the background photo, the cover photo, or whatever the fuck they call it. That's the Confederate flag. Ah, so nice. It is so nice, man. Just to trigger the leftists. So you, those who know me know that I'm an internet troll. I really am. You know, I'm not a terrible troll, but I troll Twitter a lot. I troll Facebook a lot. I troll. Oh God, the women on Twitter. Oh my God, they are just so obnoxious, so dumb. Like they don't know anything. I mean, these leftist women, they don't know anything. These women have been so brainwashed, and I'm talking about feminists, not just any leftists, the feminist variety. They don't know basic science. They don't know anything. And you know what I felt like? I feel like every time I'm on Twitter, I feel like I'm back in grade school. Not even middle school, not high school, not even college. Grade school. And man, these people are just terrible. But you start talking about, oh, Dude, one of them tried to say that I was lying when I said that the Democrats removed Abraham Lincoln from the ballots down in the South. The Democrats did that because I said the last time the Democrats removed a candidate from the ballot, it was Abraham Lincoln, and they said, "No, you're lying. That's been fact check false." And I said, "No, it wasn't, because it's true. You know, even though you got some leftist publications saying that it's false and it's true, they did. They did remove Abraham Lincoln." And they keep saying that liberals won the Civil War. No, they didn't. No, because see, here's the thing about that. Back in them days, if you took the views of every president, okay, the first liberal president we've ever had, I mean, true liberal president, was probably FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Everybody else was more libertarian. I mean, yeah, there were some that were right wing authoritarian. I mean, I'm talking about the graph. You answer questions and they put you in the dot in the graph. I'm always one to the right and three down on that graph. That's how close to center I am. So basically, most of the present presidents are either authoritarian right, authoritarian right wing, or libertarian right wing, until you get to, I think it's either Woodrow Wilson or FDR. I mean, back in the day, though, then again, things were done differently, and you would have, um, what's his name? Teddy Roosevelt be considered a liberal, but yet you'd look around and you look at all the past presidents, the none of them were against gun ownership, you know, and I'm talking before 1900. None of them were. I don't think it was until FDR we had a president that was anti-gun. But down in the South, though, the Democrats, they did not want black people to own guns. They did not want black people to be able to own guns. That was the first attempt at gun control, and it failed miserably because it was so racist. And here's my take on gun control. If you are safe enough to be out of prison, if you're safe enough for the public to be out of prison or out of a psych ward, you should not lose your right to bear arms. Now, if they deem you mentally unstable and mentally unable to own a gun, you should be in some kind of home or some kind of center where you can receive some kind of treatment. Like, for instance, you can have somebody, okay, who is mentally unstable living in a home, but being able to come out and uh, socialize with other people. Then you got your people who are so mentally ill that they have to be in a hospital. Um, the guy who shot up the bowling alley in the bar in Lewiston, he was clearly mentally unstable. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you are somebody from Maine and you know any of the family members, I know I know a couple of them.
you should probably tell him that there needs to be a class action lawsuit against the United States Army and the hospital that guy went to, because our yellow flag laws could have stopped that. And his son is at fault too. Why do I say his son's at fault? Because his son, what he should have done when his father was locked up, he should have gone in the house and taken the guns taken away all the guns so that he couldn't do something like that. He should have told the police, hey, my father's in a mental institution. He needs to be yellow flagged. And they should have gotten together. I mean, I honestly believe that it was all a setup anyway to get red flag laws pushed in this state. There was no need for that. We have yellow flag laws, which allows a mental health professional deem somebody unfit to own a gun. And now they want to bring red flag laws. You know what's happening in New York right now? They are taking away guns from people who they deem as unfit to own them, and then these people got to spend like the next 5 years fighting for their right to bear arms again. And one of the things on the list that they can take away your guns for is recently buying a gun and recently buying ammunition. That is unconstitutional as hell, and they know it. I know. You guys want to look at the gun some more. So, there's that. Everything that's happened. I mean, that entire mess was bullshit. Really, because they want to sit there and blame, well, he was mentally ill. Well, you had the laws on the books to take away his guns, and you chose not to do it because you wanted him to shoot up a bowling alley and a bar in Lewiston because you want to push your red flag laws on the people. But, yeah, so now, because of all this, my family has lost a friend. Um, Another friend of mine was wounded. And now they got all the lefties pushing for red flag laws because this happened in Lewiston. Where? In gun free zones. Because in Lewiston, um, business owners in Lewiston don't let people carry guns in their businesses. The bowling alley, they're like, nah, man, you can't bring that in here. Nobody was carrying a gun that night. Nobody in either place was carrying a gun. Had somebody been carrying a gun at the bowling alley, dude would have got dropped like a bad habit. But anyways, I went off on a tangent, guys. I know this was supposed to be a video about the gun, but like I said, man, if you live in one of those 8 states, get yourself one of these guns. If you live in a state where you can get these guns sent to you in the mail, get one. If you have family in a state where you can get one of these in the mail, get one. I mean, I do believe that uh and you can quote me on this if I'm wrong, but the last time I watched a video about California and their gun restrictions, that these right here, You can still get them. You don't have to register them or something like that, and but you still got to go through a background check to get one. You have to go through an FFL to get one. Don't quote me on this because I'm getting my information secondhand from other YouTube channels. Uh, but that's just what I heard in one of the videos. However, if I were you and you want to pick up one of these and you're not a convicted felon and you live in California, I would talk to your local gun shop owner and find out what the laws are on these because the laws are a little more lax on these. These are great pistols, by the way. They are great. You know, um, always talk to your local gun shop owner, and if you have a question that he can't answer, you probably want to talk to a lawyer. I'm just saying because these guns right here are meant for historical purposes. You know, people shoot these for historical reasons, and then there are convicted felons who buy these in Texas and they use them for home defense because, well, some convicted felons. There's a guy on here called Drizzo, and he was he was carrying black powder revolvers in California. I mean, not California, Texas, and he has a whole channel on all of this stuff. His newer stuff is he's getting guns now because Supreme Court ruled that he can. Well, it was a Supreme Court ruling that allowed him to basically get guns. I think it was the Bruin decision. As soon as the Bruin decision came out, he he went had his background check done and started purchasing guns because he got his rights back. So I don't know. You guys need to talk to your local gun shop owners and ask get more information. Probably should look at the laws themselves and probably contact a lawyer to find out if you can own one of these if you're a felon in your state. That's the best recommendation. I know felons can't own these in the state of Maine. However, most felons they can now because of the Bruin decision. So you can get your gun rights back. So, oh, and if you have a lifetime restraining order and it's been a while, um, you could probably get your gun rights back because they can't keep your gun rights from you forever. And basically, there you go. But like I said, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, this is just information that I found out online. I could be wrong about some of this. So, your best suggestion so like I said, go to a gun dealer, talk to them about it. Go to a not a well and go to a lawyer and talk to them about it as well. Yeah, he's gonna charge you a fee, you know. I mean, if you're just gonna ask a question, you can ask them, and they probably won't charge you anything for it. But your best bet is always talk to a lawyer, always talk to your local gun dealer when dealing with guns because they know they know what the gun laws are. They have to study them. I mean, Christ, you got to take a test every year for an FFL. With all that said, guys, I'm gonna bounce out of here. You guys have a great evening.